Hi guys, so as you can tell by the title, this video is all about bar prep. So if you're a law student, you're thinking about law school, if you just graduated from law school and you're preparing for the bar right now, if you haven't just graduated and maybe you're praying for the bar, you know, you're repeating the bar, this video is perfect for you. I share all my most important tips and tricks on how I passed the Illinois bar exam on my first try. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Hey guys, so I'm super excited about this video today because I'm about to share my top 5 tips to do well during bar prep and to subsequently do well on the bar exam. These are things that I utilize and that I know are the reason why I passed on my first try. So I encourage you guys to take heed to all 5 tips and to watch the video all the way through to get the most out of it. This is great whether you're a law student, whether you're thinking about law school, you're gonna eventually take the bar. If you're studying for the bar right now, this is great for you. So definitely watch the whole thing through. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, DM me. If you have any questions, if you have any, really specific questions that you want me to answer. My first tip is what you guys will need to utilize while you're watching this video, which is knowing that bar prep is not a one-size-fits-all type of thing. Of course, everybody at your school, if you're a law student or if you're thinking about law school, you will know that if you have a bar prep advisor or whatever, they're all going to tell you, bar prep is not a one-size-fits-all. But when they say that, they're serious. So whether you're taking Themis or Barbary or, Kaplan or PMBR, whatever you're taking, know that what the schedule that they give you is what they basically give everyone. So that's not necessarily what's best for you. So go into that. If you go into bar prep knowing that, then you won't set yourself up later. You're 3 weeks in and you say, okay, I've been following Themis's, schedule all this time. Why do I feel like I'm behind? Or why do I feel like I'm not, learning as much information? Why do I feel like I'm not hitting those benchmarks that I planned for myself? It's because maybe that schedule did not work for you. That was the schedule that Themis made for everyone. That's not what's best for you. Maybe you need to watch lectures in the morning, you need a break, and then you're gonna do some essay questions. I'm not a sit and read an outline type of person. That's not how I learned. And I'm gonna tell you, honestly speaking, there was not one full outline of Themis that I read through. I maybe went through the outline for topics that I didn't really understand as much, but Themis's schedule never worked for me. I tried it for the first 2 days. When I realized the first 2 days that it wasn't working, I moved on. Like the day you realize that schedule's not working for you, you move on. And you try to revise it, because there's no way you want to be one of those people where it's week 5 and you be like, oh, I just realized my schedule's not working for me. My next tip is schedule everything. So maybe schedule your break, schedule when you're gonna go to bed, schedule your workout, schedule your lunch, schedule everything. I scheduled everything and I scheduled it in the exact order. My third tip, I know for a fact that I passed because I did a ton of practice multiple choice questions. So an example, my goal at the beginning of bar prep, before I even started bar prep, I said by week 10, so bar prep is 10 weeks. If you haven't started studying for the bar yet, you don't know, bar prep is 10 weeks. So I told myself before graduation, I said, by week 10, I will have completed 1,000 multiple choice questions. I told myself that because it was a number for me to jump to, and I loved seeing that number raised. By the day of the bar exam, I had well over 2,000, probably in the 3,000 range of multiple choice questions. I did so many multiple choice questions, and I did them from multiple sources. So like I said earlier, I was a Themis bar taker. And so I utilized bar prep questions from Themis. I took them from my school. I got them from, teachers. And then I used PMBR. So PMBR is not cheap. So if you can get a discount from your school, you can get the course free from your school, I definitely encourage you to, or find someone who has their PMBR book still from bar prep that they haven't thrown away, because I know I threw away all of my bar prep material except my PMBR book, because I didn't take a lot of the PMBR questions in the book. I left the book very clean so that I could give it to someone, because I know that it's not cheap, and it might be a shot to your confidence, because this happened to me. So I did a bunch of Themis multiple choice questions. I was doing so well in my Themis multiple choice questions. Then I took the PMBR practice exam, and I did horrible. And I did horrible to the point where it was like an R&B like music video. I was crying in the shower. But when I took those PMBR questions, they were so similar to the way bar examiners ask questions, and they were so different from the ones that I was used to, that my brain actually had to think. Like, I actually had to think about rules. I wasn't just used to the Themis questions, you know what I'm saying? And by that point, I realized, okay, I'm getting used to Themis questions. Let me throw in a different type of set of questions. So PMBR, something for my teachers, you know, like on a regular basis. So I definitely encourage you to do that. My fourth tip is to go into bar prep not trying to jump on everything so quickly. And by that, I'm mostly focusing on the essay questions. So for the first, and some people might cringe at this, but this honestly worked amazing for me. It helped me learn the law so well. I wasn't answering essay questions, like writing out paragraphs, trying to figure out the right answer, probably until about week maybe 5. I was halfway through where I was actually writing out answers. At the beginning, I was reading through essay questions, and I was reading through answers, sample answers. And if I could get my hand on multiple sample answers, that's a good thing to do. I was reading through questions and answers to figure out how to write the answer. We all know the IRAC, you know, issue, rule, analysis, conclusion. We all know that format, but sometimes putting it in, actually writing out that format and making it like a story easy for bar examiners to read, that's a different beast. So you're ahead of the game if your law school has taught you the IRAC format. You're definitely ahead of the game. But I did that for about 4 weeks straight. I was reading essays, I was reading answers, I was going back reading rules, and I was reading the essays again. And then, you know, so I was doing that for about 2.5 to 3 weeks. And then maybe from week 3 to 5, I was bullet pointing. I was answering, but I was bullet pointing. I wasn't trying to write them in paragraph form. Definitely for the first few weeks, I wasn't paying attention to that 30-minute mark. So if you don't know how the UBE is formatted, it's 6 essay questions, and they just give them to you. So and you have 3 hours to complete 6 essay questions. So that's 30 minutes a question, basically. So I was definitely not paying attention to that 30-minute marker. So I definitely recommend doing that, because composing full answers takes so much brain power in itself, and then you start to get nervous looking at the time. And I would just encourage you to learn the material and get used to things before you try to jump into them, because you don't want to discourage yourself. So my 5th tip, and I know I said it would be substantive, and this is substantive to me. It was very important. I'm upset that I didn't get hip to it till about week 7 or 8. And it's simply put, give yourself treats, give yourself breaks every day. Every day, give yourself something to look forward to. So say, I know zaade uploads on Wednesdays and Sundays. So on Wednesday, I'm going to make sure I set aside that 15 minutes to watch her video, right? And that maybe not necessarily my video, but videos that you like, or a show even. So for me, I was binging Supernatural. So every night, I made sure after I was done studying, I would sit down and I would watch Supernatural. You do deserve it. You deserve to watch that hour of Supernatural. You've been studying, especially if you're a full-time studier, you've been studying for 8 hours. Watch TV while you eat. Don't study while you eat. Eating is a sacred activity. You love eating. Why would you ruin it with property? My bonus tip is to not lie to yourself. Now, if you know that you really BS the day away, maybe the break isn't so great for you. So yeah, guys, those are my top 5 tips to do well during bar prep. So I'm not saying that I know everything. I might not know as much as someone who's been practicing for 15 years, but bar prep was something that I was really passionate about for the 10 weeks that I was doing it. Definitely feel free to follow me on Instagram and DM me. I have a bunch of tips lined up for you guys, a bunch of different videos for bar prep that I'll be dropping weekly for you guys. So just stay tuned. So I'm Zaade, the Esquire.